Hello, hello, hello. Welcome into the Eric Zane Show podcast, a daily show where I discuss news, nonsense, and my personal adventures. Nipping out today. Like my nips, it's a little chilly in here, so I'm nipping out, I guess. So glad you are here for podcast number 1071. Oh my God, I don't know why that stands out to me as strange. So, yeah, 1,071 free podcasts and 1,071 Patreon shows. Oh my God. Who knew? I just was made aware that one of my pals in the podcasting world, former radio guy, Tyler Glenn, who I featured on this show before when he launched, talked about me recently. And, oh, my God, it's so flattering. So, Tyler, similar boat, got out of radio, and then he was tipped off by the Canadian Twitch guru, Don Collins. Now, in English, that's Don Collins. But to my growing number of Canadian compadres, Don Collins. As Megan writes, 3 easy customers this week. Dan B. came in this morning. That makes me happy. Thank you. I'm happy for you. Don Collins was the guy who got me turned on to Twitch. When I kept getting banned on Facebook, I said, I can't do this shit anymore. I got to put this on Twitch. Well, the rest is history. So Don tips me off to that shit. He calls on one of his Canadian pals, Tyler Glenn, who's in Manitoba, and said, look, because Tyler was fucked. He couldn't do anything. You know, he was out and had no radio prospects. He'd been doing it for decades, morning drive. And Don said, well, check out this Eric Zane guy. He might be able to tip you, help you and put you in the right direction. So I remember he sent me an email. I immediately responded to him. Like about 1 minute after I got the email, I said, hey, I'll help you out any way, shape, or form. My best practices, things to avoid to help you get started. And so, I had this a long kind of interaction with him, and he launched his show. And I actually, on the first day he went on his show, I had him on my show, and it was a lot of fun. And since then, he's been figuring it out and doing just great. Well, he was interviewed on this podcast that I was on one time called the Sound Off Podcast with Matt Kundle, which is very close to a nasty word. And Matt, another Canadian who likes to interview radio people and podcasters about this industry. It's an industry podcast. And he was great. I loved him. It was a big plus. In fact, I had known of him from a few years ago. In fact, Tyler, Eric, and Matt were all in the same spot at one point in time in Minnesota at a radio conference. But this is all boring. I realize that. But anyway, Tyler was interviewed by Matt the other day, and he was like, oh, Eric Zane, he helped me out so much. He's just... And so I'm starting to be like described as this, in terms of the radio guy who is not allowed to work on the radio anymore, trying to make a living doing podcasting. I'm like one of the ones that led the charge of single style monologue show when you're all alone. There is a way to do it. And that's awesome. I love that. I mean, I didn't plan any of this shit out. It kind of all I kept fucking everything up. Oh my God. I don't know what the fuck I was doing. What's driven all this is fear and anxiety. Fear and anxiety can be a wonderful fuel. All right. Some people I'm driven by my own inner being. I'm like, fuck that. I am scared to fucking death. That's the only way I've been able to do this. Is like concerns. This is what I do. When I have an anxiety attack, I freak out, stay up all night, get like 1 hour sleep, wake up, and then like attack the day like a Ukraine counteroffensive. And then I'm like falling asleep hours later, but I get a bunch of work done. I don't know who Potato Guzzler is. But he just has last name of Kerr. First name of, he says, hi, last name Kerr, first name Nick. Here. What's the topic? Yeah, nice try. Nice try, you asshole. I'm going to allow it. Trying to get me to say something horrible. Not falling for that shit. What the fuck is wrong with you? But that was so cool of Tyler. I appreciate that. Welcome into this show. And yesterday I was, this is kind of weird, but I'm in the front of my house and I see a guy on one of those, on a Segway, and he's, just, those things look so weird. I just can't get used to those things. And I remember before they had like a handle. Nowadays, they don't even have a handle. You just get on the fucking thing and go. And right away, I'm like, oh, God. Door-to-door salesman. And he goes to the Beach's house. Nothing. Goes to the Don's house. Bangs on the door. Nothing. Goes over to the Hallelujahs. Nothing. And now, all the while, this takes about 10 minutes. He stays at each door quite a while. And I'm like, well, he's going to be coming here. Now, there's one of two things I can do. I can either, and Megan says, oh, the bug guy. How did you know it's a bug guy? I can stay here and interact with him. Or I can go inside and sick the NFK on him. And like, I hate doing that. There's always a chance that a dog could escape when that happens. Amanda says he came to my house. I bought the service. All right. Well, there you go. That is unbelievable. Everybody says, oh, you blew the story. No, she didn't blow the story. It doesn't matter what he's selling. All that matters is that it's a door-to-door salesperson. Maybe she blew the story, but I'm not in the mood to fight. And my first thought is, well, I finally decided I'm going to actually interact with them. I don't want the NFK to do it. So I'm like in my garage, acting like I'm putzing around. And up comes the guy. And I don't know, man. Amanda, frankly, I don't know how you do that. Someone comes to your door and you bite. Unless you're actually about to call a service to get rid of bugs, then maybe. And I guess that's what they're hoping for. Out of the 25 people they might at 25 doors, one would say, you know what? I'm glad you're here. I'm glad you're here. I had one goal in mind, and that was don't be an asshole. Let this guy do his job and don't fuck with him. But it got to a point where it was too long. It was like the amount of time that I'd invested was 3, 4, 5 minutes. And I'm standing there in the driveway. Hey, how you doing? And he's very much like a fucking DJ. And yeah, sure beats walking. Yeah, I know. So anyway, I am. And they always start with the same thing. Well, There's 64 homes in the neighborhood, and 32 of which, 50% today alone, have already signed up for what I'm about to show you. And I'm like, first of all, there's a lot more than 64 homes where I live. And I don't believe for 1 second that 50% of these people have agreed to what you're telling me. And then, in fact, there was a guy doing roofing the other day. He same exact technique. He goes, hey, first 3 houses, they're all getting new roofs. Just want to know if you want to be the 4th. And I'm like, no, I'm good. Good. Thanks. Happy with mine. Well, I don't know. It's looking pretty. And then they start to like judge you. They're like, oh boy, it looks like you need one. And I'm like, no, I'm good. Thank you. I try not to be an asshole. I just try to like, nope, thanks. Hey, I appreciate it. I'm all set. You know? And then the guy says, well, here, show me the problem. And he holds up the laminated card with about 8 million bugs on it. And he wants me to like pick one, you know? He wants me to pick the bug so that he can tell me all the problems with that bug. And I go, no, it's good. I don't ever see a bug around here. And I do. I see thousands of them. And he goes, well, you know, and he's giving me he moves out of the next plan of attack. And then somehow he's talking about, and this is so good for pets. Do you have pets? Now, I want to say, nope, no pets. But, I mean, knowing my luck, then one of the dogs will bark or something like that will happen. I go, yeah, I have a dog. I have dogs. He goes, oh, yeah? How many? I go, 4. He goes, oh, my God. Ticks are so bad. They're everywhere. The ticks are out of control. You must save your animals' lives. Get this. He's a nice guy, but I felt like he was a criminal. I don't know why. I'm just not comfortable when they come to the door. Megan says my husband works from home and sometimes he's sitting right in the window and the salespeople see him and he doesn't even get up. I'm too much of a people pleaser for that. Yeah, I'm with you. I can't do it. Ryan says I can't help but be an asshole to these people. Why? I always like when they say your neighbor Jack and Susan up the street. Never met them. So I had to kind of, at some point, see what they do is he keeps talking. He doesn't give me a chance to respond. He's really leaning into it. And I go, dude, I hate to do this to you, but I'm going to put the brakes on this. I appreciate you, but I'm just not interested right now. Thank you. Well, is it a financial thing? And I go, I don't know. It's just I don't want to thing. Well, I'm telling you, if it's a financial thing, we have, and he continues on. And I go, no, I had to, after I already told him no. He then went to the last ditch effort. This guy, he was pretty strong at what he did, but I just said, no, I just can't do it. But I can't be an asshole to them. All right. So that was kind of like what went on as the day was unfolding yesterday. Door-to-door idiot, nothing worse. Welcome into this show. I'm so glad you're here. I've got more fallout from the Great Bigot Purge of 2023. Let me say this about rainbow around my little logo. And anybody who does rainbow around the logo. I saw a story in, I forgot the publication about how numerous businesses this is still happening. People are still pissed off when you say, hey, I support people who are gay. And then The snowflakes get butthurt and get pissed off. There's a pride parade going on, or Pride Day or whatever, in Grand Haven, Michigan coming up. It's everywhere. You know, you can't turn around without a fucking something gay going on. Something gay, no doubt. And whatever, you know, fantastic. Good. I'm happy. I don't give a shit. Let me just say this. Anyone who bitches is a bigot. If you openly announce, I don't like gay, you are a bigot. And I am not giving my business to these companies that support gay people. Now, look, I give my business to MAGA scum. I love my MAGA brothers and sisters. I don't hate on my conservative, religious zealot piece of shit lunatic friends. Okay? I call them terrible names, but I love them. Brandis says, I literally heard some douche say those exact words walking into the grocery store yesterday. What the fuck? That is Brandis / Juliet Lewis. Can you please give us the details? Type out the details, Juliet. I need to know this. Our new audience member, a new contributor, Potato Guzzler, says, I can accept, but I don't need to celebrate the rainbow crap. You see, mild amount of bigoting there. You're into the bigot realm. The next step is you'll be like pissed off at the gays. That's what you're going to do. You're going to do that. So you better just fucking grow up and relax. You have to understand, when a person who's suicidal, marginalized, sad, alone, ostracized, and hated on, every time they turn around, when they see a rainbow, it helps them. It makes them feel better. It makes them feel better after, probably something terrible happened to them. So lighten the fuck up. Relax. It's not the end of the world. Anybody who gets offended by a stupid rainbow is a weak-minded fucking loser. Just like I don't give a fuck if you have your MAGA flag on the back of your pickup truck. I might avoid you, but I'm not going to act like an asshole to you. You know what I mean? Whatever. Who gives a fuck? Relax. Juliet Lewis says, some dick, as he was walking in the store, said, I'm really beginning to hate everything about gays and trans, too. He must have seen something on his way into the store. Brandis says, who the fuck just announces that in front of my kids? And my kids are woke as fuck. I had to hold them back. Corey says, yeah, it's not like it's a piece of shit Confederate flag. NW980 says, I think it's funny when MAGA crows. Megan says, pride flag at my house. I think I'm going to get one, too. I'm sure Jennison clutches their pearls when they drive by. So, yeah, enough. I get it. You don't like it. Shut the fuck up. Go with it. Relax. You don't have to say everything that comes into your brain. You look like a fucking racist asshole. NW980. I think it's funny that MAGA crowd wants everyone to accept their First Amendment fuck Joe Biden flags, but God forbid there's a rainbow flag. Exactly. Conservatives, Christian conservatives, there is a difference. Trumpers, MAGA, they're some of the weakest childish fucking pussies on the planet. They get so butthurt and will fight you. Or maybe they'll just turn around and just stab you in the fucking back. Update from Harbor Humane. This was the organization that I was first tipped off to, with the little ribbon around the cute little paw logo, which led to I was tipped off that there was a Facebook fight going on where people are like, hey, look, I know that you love helping animals, and I know that you are pillars in the community working very hard to help all of the kitties and the bunnies and the dogs and the salamanders, whatever the fuck. You find homes. Oh, I mean, that is God's work. I know you do all that. But because of that rainbow ribbon around the paw, I am no longer going to donate money or support Harbor Humane in any way, shape, or form. Fuck you. You are groomers. That's the big thing. Like, oh, if you support gays, you support pedophiles. Oh, my God. That tipped me off. I put the little ribbon on my logo, and then quickly people started to abandon ship for your old pal EZ. And I'm like, fuck yes, it's working. Oh, my God, I'm so happy. And that led to a whole weekend of Facebook fights. Which, by the way, I have a number of new people who are, who saw that I put the fucking thing up there, the rainbow ribbon, and they're like, "Hey, son of a bitch, this is you're an ally." I go, "Well, yeah." They go, "What do you do?" I go, "I fucking talk shit all day. I'm an asshole. I just whatever." Try not to be offended if you're one of the people who followed me who are new, and you hear me refer to gay people as the gays. I'm kind of an idiot, and I try to be funny in everything I do, but I just wanted you to know that I do support you 100%. But I have an update from Harbor Humane. I have to update you since I feel like this is a nameless, faceless person. Since you have a vested interest in this story. As a charitable organization, they have a board. All right, that's the law. You have to have a board of directors. We have now lost a board member because we love the gays. Longtime board member, fairly big donor. She said, since we are participating in Grand Haven Pride, which has, get ready to clutch your pearls, drag queens, we are complicit in endangering children. And she can't have that on her conscience. Also, I think my favorite part of this story is that the organization, the Children's Advocacy Center, is a sponsor of Grand Haven Pride. That's a terrific organization that helps children who are victims of particular types of abuse. And people are too stupid to think anything but terrible thoughts about people who do drag performances. I'm telling you, the people on the right, the conservatives, the conservative right, are fueled by each other. They just kind of throw out their own talking points, and then depending on who throws it out, how much traction it gets, they then all believe it. It adds to their brainwashing. So if Joe Schmo down the street says something bigoted, it might influence one person who then starts to think the same way because they're all really dumb and easily influenced. But when a Kid Rock, who has millions of supporters, does this, it has a much more it has a larger effect, a gigantic in scope, and that's how you establish this added variable into this culture war that we are in right now. Oh my God. NW980 writes, so they hate people dressed in drag, but it's okay to dress as a buffalo, paint your face, and storm the Capitol like that one idiot. I'm so confused. Endangering kids. Remind me again how many drag queens have been school shooters. Kenny writes, wonder how many of these people that freak out about drag queens watched Friends decades ago and just ignored the fact that Chandler's dad was what on the show. Yeah, you see, it didn't matter then because nobody was shooting cans of beer. These right-wing lunatics have a voice now. They have had a voice since 2016. And this is going to take... We've gone backwards, all right, in equality over the years. And it's going to take a long time for it to go away. But in the end, these people will get old, they will die off, and we will be able to catch back up to some degree. Generally, the people that are like this are... relatively harmless. I don't think they're, you have the occasional bit of violence, but for the most part, I think that they're really, really weak and kind of cowards. And I get this from time to time. Easy with this rainbow. Why are you dividing? All you're doing is dividing us. Dividing? What? I say the same to you for all the shit that you have pulled over the years. That's dividing. All they're doing is saying, hey, we're gay. How you doing? Love everybody. Come on. All right. I'm very close to something gigantic happening on this show. Very, very close to something large. Eric Zane, what do you mean? I know. I can't. I'm still getting my bearings on this. I want to just blurt. I have to be tactical. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? Yeah, I know. Just thinking out loud. All right. Thank you for being here, old listeners, new listeners. And I need to reiterate one thing. Though it's called the Great Bigot Purge of 2023, there are people that have left the show now. Are actually like, I am not going to listen to the most entertaining podcast that has ever existed because I am a simpleton. I am a fucking moron. And that is all right. Every so often, I do prune. And when I do, good things happen. So don't worry about me. If someone's such a weak-minded fucking pussy that if I say the shit that I say and that ruins their life and they can no longer listen to me, well, screw them. We have then raised the bar collectively of this group of people. That would mean that collectively, this is a smarter show. I'm not saying it's more funny, but it's better. And I know that what I do is the greatest thing that has ever happened to spoken word. You know that. The humbleness, that's what drives me. Thank you if you're watching on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube, but I must say goodbye to you. There's an hour and 27 minutes of show left, and it's on Twitch. So go to twitch.tv/Eric Zane right now and sign up, or download the Twitch app. Now listen to me. You can do this. Download the Twitch app on your phone. Search Eric Zane Live, all one word. You'll find me. Follow me there and enjoy the show. If you have Amazon Prime, link up your Amazon Prime account. How? Just read. And then subscribe. When you're subscribed, you don't get ads that just fly in out of nowhere when I'm in the middle of another amazing point. Twitch.tv/Eric Zane Live. If you ever want to say hello, or send me some hate mail, the Shoreliners Striping inbox, eric@ericzaneshow.com. I love to get the correspondence. All right. I'm now going to say goodbye to you folks on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. Facebook and Twitch, brought to you by Irvine's Auto Repair, Grand Rapids Hybrid, and EV. So good to have Megan here. Glad you're joining us. I'm glad you had show audience members show up. That is wind in my sails. Tyler says, "Oh, the blue balls! Damn you!" All right. Twitter brought to you by Blue Frost IT. Follow me on those at Eric Zane Show on Twitter. Facebook.com/Eric Zane fan page on Facebook. And then follow my YouTube channel. If you only get the show on Twitch, that's cool. I appreciate that. But if you could subscribe to one of the audio platforms for the podcast, the audio podcast, when you actually subscribe to the show, that helps easy. So, in fact, really want to go the extra mile, subscribe to the audio podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, CastBox, Google Podcast, all of them. If you subscribe to all of them, that would help me. Forgot to mention my Patreon. Patreon, there is a free trial. A permanent free trial. This has been fantastic because it's like when I would say all the time, yeah, just go ahead and sign up for 1 month, try it out. That's fine, but this is better because it allows you to get it with no financial commitment. Patreon, patreon.com/Eric Zane. Today I have Smarter Than a Former Drug Dealer trivia. Dale, Throat/Dale, 20 years behind bars in Michigan prisons, turned his life around after being stabbed in the throat in prison, is your contestant. I will have a game today, and I will post it. A minimum of a $25 cash prize that rolls over to the next week if Dale happens to win. That is on Patreon only. Patreon, patreon.com/Eric Zane. Sign up for a 7-day free trial. So if everyone who's enjoying this live stream right now or the audio podcast later, if you would sign up for the freebie, 7 days free, fuck yes. That's all I ask, is that you try it out, because it's up to me to convince you that you need to keep that going at the end of the 7 days. So offer it free, hook those fuckers, and make them want more. That's the goal. So thank you for trying Patreon for free for 7 days. I tipped off my pal Carl from Who Are These Podcasts the other day. By the way, before I get to that, NW980, how do we get chosen for trivia? That's a good question. Lately, I had been just posting on Facebook and said, hey, if you want to play like this, and then I'll reach out to you when it's your turn. You can move to the front of the line if you just send me an email, eric@ericzaneshow.com. I'll do that for you. Send me an email, and that's it. I'll put you in the queue. I chatted with Carl from Who Are These Podcasts, and I like to talk to Carl whenever I come up with a way to make money. Hey, because he's like me. He's a content creator. Much more talented one. I go, hey, buddy, Patreon. Have you tried the Patreon? Have you told your audience about the 7 days free? No. I go, dude, it's fucking great. I have had a windfall of people who've tried it out. Not all of them stayed with it after the 7, but a lot have. I just got back over 200 subscribers on Patreon. After the great Zaniac exodus of 2022, I was down to about 180. And it had slowly been going up, but when I started the free trial, it took off again. So now I'm back up over 200. So now the next goal is to get half as high as I once was. I was at 455. So the next goal is 227 and a half. Or 228 or 227. So I'm 25 away from that right now. Inching my way back. So I want to get to that goal. So if you want to try it out for free, do it. Carl goes, does it work? I go, yeah, it fucking works, man. I will be joining Carl live in Detroit, and I want you to go. Who are these podcasts live? Aha. There you go. This is what you do. If you want to hang out with me in front of an audience in Ferndale, Michigan, at the Magic Bag, Brandis says, so I guess I shouldn't drop Patreon yet. I literally never listen. I'm just donating. You don't have to do that. Do not do that. Drop it, for God's sake. Come on now. I would rather you not pay it if you don't listen. It's not that. I never want my audience to feel like they owe me something because out of like allegiance. That's very kind of you, but save your fucking money. But you should listen. If you go to the website, whoarethese.com, click where it says tickets for the Magic Bag on sale now. That's the venue. Great joint. Friday, September 15th. $30 for a ticket. You can pay a little more for a VIP party beforehand where we all hang out and everybody's drinking and getting to know each other. Limited number of people can do that. So Carl, myself, Chris, probably Trucker Andy, probably Drew from the Drew and Mike Show. God rest Mike's soul. Probably Mark from the Drew and Mike Show. I'm not sure who else, but it's a great time. And we'll all be roasting shows. And I really had a great time. I was excited to have been included in it last year. And so they invited me back. I'd like to get a group of people from this show to go, but it is going to sell out. So tickets have been brisk as from what have been selling brisk as far as what I have heard. So make a date, pencil it in, and come see me live with Carl from Who Are These Podcasts. All right, listen up. I always sit up a little taller when HelloFresh partners with the Eric Zane Show podcast. Look, HelloFresh is cheaper than grocery shopping. It's also 25% cheaper than takeout. Because if you're going to prepare a meal like this at home, that you're going to get restaurant quality food through HelloFresh, you're going to have to go to the store and buy all these giant bottles of ingredients, which are probably going to sit in your home forever until they expire, and then you throw them away. Not so with HelloFresh. Everything is pre-portioned for that meal. Shows up at your house. You look like a genius. The food is fantastic, and everybody is going to love you. I am not kidding you. I've never been so sure about something. HelloFresh.com/Zane16. When you go that route, you use code Zane16 for 16 free meals plus free shipping. HelloFresh.com/Zane16 and use code Zane16 for 16 free meals plus free shipping. You're going to love this. Try it. And the month of May is perfect because HelloFresh is celebrating Asian American and Pacific Islander Heritage Month. So you can try limited time, authentic recipes created in partnership with an amazing chef by the name of Serbi Sani of New York City's Tagmo restaurant. So you will be able to do that in your own home. I'm not kidding you. Do this. HelloFresh.com/Zane16. Promo code Zane16. 16 free meals. What have you got to lose? Plus free shipping. Try it today. HelloFresh. Amen. Okay. So there you go. That's the fallout from the Great Bigot Purge of 2023. This is the second time I've heard about somebody trying to use the website Rent-A-Hitman. It's a parody site. And as much as it's a parody site, it's actually been being used to fight crime. There have been people that have gone to hire a hitman with legit inquiries. Like, hey, I read, and then the people who run the site, they have to like, okay, I think this person is serious. And then the people who run the site then tip off the police, and then they do their police work. Aram asks me, ask Drew about how Joe is doing. Ooh, I am a little bit concerned about that, being that Drew from Drew and Mike is Joe's uncle. And I don't know if you know this about me, but I've been a little bit critical about our pal Joe. Now, in my mind, Drew will say nothing. But part of me is like, oh boy, what if he brings it up? Because then I got to actually fucking drop the hammer on him. If he would be expecting me to go, yeah, be kind of a pussy about it. I'm not going to do that. I hope he doesn't bring it up because I don't want to have to kick his ass, verbally. I wouldn't want to do that. I wouldn't have to. I wouldn't want to set him straight. I admire Drew too much. The Eric Zane Show podcast would like to remind you this is a work of fiction. Names, characters, places, and incidents either are products of Eric Zane's imagination or are used fictitiously. Any resemblance to actual events, locales, or persons, living or dead, is entirely coincidental. All right. What the fuck was I going to say? Where was I? Oh, Rent-A-Hitman.com. Look at this. This is fantastic. Look at the top. It says T-shirts, $16, mugs, $8, book tags, stickers, and more in our Printify pop-up store. Rent-A-Hitman, your point-and-click solution. We are 100% HIPAA compliant, which is HIPPA, Hitman Information Privacy and Protection Act of 1964. Click below for your free consultation. The good news is that Rent-A-Hitman is a safe and secure option that's easily accessible on the World Wide Web. We place great importance on maintaining the confidentiality of our clients and ensuring their privacy is protected under the Hitman Information Privacy and Protection Act of 1964. Our competitors' websites can't make that same claim, and their credibility is questionable at best. So when it comes to your safety and peace of mind, choose Rent-A-Hitman. Got a problem that needs resolving? With over 17,985 U.S.-based field operatives, we can find a solution that's right for you. Since 1920, Rent-A-Hitman has assisted a diverse range of satisfied clients, including ordinary citizens of all ages, government employees, and even political figures. Safe and secure web form. Abigail writes, my consultation was fast and free, and they took care of everything while I was on vacation. Highly recommended. Oh, my God. So then you fill out your name, all this shit, and this, if the people who run the site then figure, I wonder if this is legit. Relation to intended target. Self, relative, neighbor, nanny, politician, insurrectionist, accountant, other, spouse, business partner, bully, lawyer, activist, government official. Is the target a minor or adult? That's where we go to this. Storm Lake, Iowa. A 17-year-old teenager went to the website to hire a hitman to kill a 7-year-old. Oh, my God. This is remarkable. It's remarkable that it happened. It's remarkable that someone, even a 17-year-old, could be so insanely stupid. Now, you have to understand, if you go ahead and just fill out the information, that doesn't necessarily mean that they're going to tip off the cops. If they do happen to tip off the cops are going to pursue this, and they're going to make 1,000,000% sure that you actually do want to hire a hitman. According to the release from the Storm Lake, Iowa Police Department, officials were contacted on Friday from Rent-A-Hitman.com, of course, the parody website, with the intention to hire someone to kill a young child. The webmaster of the website told the cops that the person had visited the website 2 times and provided the child's private information, including their name and location. The release states that the investigation was launched immediately, and officials were able to identify the child and a suspect. A cop went undercover and posed as a hitman and knocked on the door of the person who tried to hire them. Said, hey, knock, knock, knock. I'm from Rent-A-Hitman.com. She's like, oh, cool. Come on in. Here, I'll give you the lowdown. The officer, see, because, you know, if the fake hitman goes here and the person says, oh, no, I was just fucking around. I was stupid. Walks away, no harm, no foul. But this has happened before. If the person says, oh, thank God, yeah, this is what I want. I'm glad you're here. That happened. The officer was able to confirm that the potential suspect wanted their target killed. They get all wired up. They got everything. Okay, here's the contract. Sign it. You can rent a hitman. Okay, thank you. They have conspired to murder someone, which is a crime. You can't conspire to kill people. Oh, my God. The 17-year-old suspect was taken into custody Friday, and further interviews were conducted. Officials were able to determine that the solicitation was an absolutely credible threat against that child. The 17-year-old was charged with 1 count of solicitation to commit murder, a felony, and was referred to juvenile court. Why juvenile court? It should be charged as an adult. Fuck that. The release noted that the victim and the victim's family were aware of this threat. The investigation is ongoing. Oh, no. I cannot imagine if you're the mom and dad of the 17-year-old, because you know for their entire life, the 17-year-old has just been doing dumb fuck things after dumb fuck things. You know? Very former Zaniac-like in stupidity here. This is something that you would hear a child of a former Zaniac doing. Oh, my God. Tyler says, quote, "Hey, I'm the bug control salesman. Wink, wink." And Amanda says, "Oh, shit, Tyler, I'm never opening the door again." Crazy Ashley. Remember the woman from Muskegon that was busted for hiring a hitman for her husband? She just got out of jail, I think. Husband took her back. The fuck? Oh, my God. Amanda says, don't you have to have you have to actually exchange money for it to be a crime? I think that happened. I think that's how this went down. Amanda says, is there fine print anywhere on the site? That I don't know. We can quickly scan. Perhaps we'll see it. I'm sure there is. Come on now. It says, Rent-A-Hitman is no longer affiliated with Diners Club, the Detroit Lions, the Illuminati, Donald Trump, Kyle Rittenhouse, Carol Baskin, or Vladimir Putin due to contractual restrictions. All correspondence with Rent-A-Hitman, your point-and-click solution, including email and web form communications, are the property of Rent-A-Hitman and are subject to print, multimedia, and other uses, both public and private. By using Rent-A-Hitman, you consent to the use of cookies as required by HIPAA regulations. Capiche? Yeah, I don't see anything that this is a parody. It shouldn't have to. Oh, I love this so much. There's all sorts of interesting levels of support you can offer. If you give them $5, it's Guido's Coffee Fund. $20 Rent-A-Hitman Silver Supporter. I think you get a t-shirt. $50 Rent-A-Hitman's Gold Supporter. $100 Rent-A-Hitman's Platinum Supporter. We want to know what you think. Click here. Yeah, I don't see anything that says that this is a fake site. I like how the backdrop for this form is the deep woods, where a body could be hidden. Oh, my God. So there you go. 17-year-old busted. That is very special. This portion of the show could be brought to us by Rent-A-Hitman. Rent-A-Hitman, greater than Z-Speed as a sponsor. You're right. You are right. I sure hope that by mentioning Z-Speed, it doesn't lead to, pain. Which I'm not going to let that go, by the way. That may be in the rear view mirror in terms of anger, at least for me, and fighting. But I'm still absolutely going to be bringing up Z-Speed Mobile Mechanic. I am not turning a blind eye to arguably one of the most hilarious things that has happened on the show. And I met Kenny halfway. I didn't tell him that, but you have to meet me halfway. We will remain friends, but I am going to keep referencing Z-Speed Mobile Mechanic in the way that I said, and I will be suggesting that you are the paid endorser. That's not leaving anytime soon. So, similar to the people who hate on Pride, you're going to have to put on your big boy pants and take care of that deal. Aram says, didn't someone on Patreon say he's actually a real mobile mechanic in Nashville? I'm not sure what you mean by that. You're talking about, yes, of course Z-Speed's a real mobile mechanic. Kenny says he's closed his business down. I'm happy about that. I sure hope that that's not the case. I think he's a wonderful mechanic. All right. That's enough of that. The open and live stream of this show is brought to you today by Blue Frost IT. Online at bluefrostit.com. If you have a small or a medium-sized business and you're like, so we're doing all the right things. I've got my services. I've got my products. I've got my network set up. Oh, no. Something bad happened with my tech. Where do I begin? Blue Frost IT. 616-200-8550. 616-200-8550. They can repair whatever the problem is, or you can hire them as preventative maintenance. That's what I do. Blue Frost is your old pal EZ's managed IT service provider. He keeps track of all my things technically. Make sure that I have no bugs in the system. Upgrades when I need them. Updates. Lets me know when there's a problem. Monitors my systems. Blue Frost IT at my beck and call with simply a phone call. Don't wait and have to get in line for their services because your tech goes south. If that's the case, time is money. You could lose precious days. You only get 365 a year to make some money. Don't waste days. Blue Frost IT. The small price you'll pay for them to be your managed IT service provider is worth it in the long run, because otherwise, if there is an issue, you will lose no time. 616-200-8550. Another great business that supports the show, they're all great, is A&E Heating and Cooling. 616-516-8579 for Senor Joe Martinez. If you've yet to call to get your AC tuned up, you're making a massive mistake. Lately, there's been those little fuzzy things flying through the air with a seed on them. Pollen, whatnot. I don't know. Maybe they come off a dandelion. Those are everywhere around here. Not to mention all the pollutants from crazy amount of fires have been happening. Well, your AC unit outside of your house with the fan on top, it's sucking air in through those fins. Well, those little things I was just telling you about get stuck in those fins, and it becomes like a mattress of shit. And if you have not had that thing cleaned out, oh my God, that means that your AC unit is working harder to suck air in to cool, which means it all works harder. It works harder for longer, less efficient, and likely to cause a breakdown. So spend the $79 and get that shit cleaned off. and your interworkings of your AC inside of the home tuned and tested. Make sure it's running well. 616-516-8579. A little bit of preventative maintenance will go a long way when it comes to your furnace and your AC. I've got a lot of people behaving terribly on the show today. Not you, the audience. Just a lot of these fucked up stories about people doing stupid shit. Hence, Rent-A-Hitman. Kyle Ryan says that's why you put a screen cover around your AC unit. Linda says it's cottonwood trees. Thank God I'm not allergic. Kyle, do I try to undermine you when it comes to selling homes? Well, yeah, I kind of do. Never mind. Anyway. This time around, we've got an adult that wants to have sex with kids. My late pal, Tori Whitten, the cop, we've had these discussions about police internet task forces. If you're the type of scumbag, like the person I'm about to reveal to you, who likes to have sex with kids and you like to communicate with them online, there's a high risk that you are communicating with an internet crimes task force person, a cop, who just puts up a stupid picture of a kid, and it's a dude behind a desk at the police station, and then the fucking slob who likes to put his ding-dong in children starts to communicate with them. Next thing you know, there is a crime that's committed, and then they go arrest the son of a bitch. That happened in Houston, Texas. Corey says, by the way, have you watched the documentary Jared from Subway? I did watch that one. It was very interesting. And that guy, wow, what a fucking psycho. Him and his pal. Jesus. You know, he'll get out in our lifetime. Jared. It's definitely worth a watch. Is that the one that was out like in the last 6 months? I think that's what you're referring to. Okay, so look at this guy. This is the latest creep. He's being arrested in front of his work. They went in and said, hey, you're under arrest. This is a school. He's the superintendent of schools. Oh, no. Michael Stevens is his name. Let's check this out. Audio check, video check. Now, this is the local sheriff explaining what happened. I love this guy, Constable Alan Rosen, Harris County Precinct 1.
Harris County Precinct 1 Constable Alan Rosen. I am here today with some disturbing news all parents unfortunately need to hear. Trying to protect our children, Precinct 1 has been teaming up with the Humble Police Department to host an Internet Crimes Against Children operation. Trained investigators from more than a dozen local law enforcement agencies have been online posing as teenagers aged 13, 14, and 15. And just a few hours ago, Precinct 1 investigators with our ICAT unit arrested our seventh suspect.
Look at that. Itasca High School. He's in front of the fucking school. I wish we could zoom in on the windows and see all the kids with their noses pressed to the windows. And if you're a teacher at that school and this is going down, the superintendent of schools is getting arrested. The teacher's not like, get away from the windows. Don't be nosy. The teacher's like, you got to check this shit out. Let's look at this. Oh, my God. How fantastic.
Ordinarily, I would not show mugshots of these defendants, but we are trying to determine if any other children have been solicited by these individuals. So the first defendant is Michael Keith Stevens. He is a 47-year-old, and listen to this. He is the superintendent of schools in the Itasca ISD, which is in Hill County. Stevens, through an undisclosed social media app, began communicating with an undercover officer whom he believed was a 15-year-old female in Houston, Texas.
Now, he's an educated man. To think that he would throw all caution to the wind and risk his life and his career and his freedom for something like this, he can't. This just goes to show you the power of the hormones that are raging in a man. And sometimes these stupid assholes can't control themselves. And you see, the internet giveth you the lascivious images and the porno, but it taketh away too. If it wasn't for the day and age that we live in, we would never have known that this guy was a scumbag. It would have been so much more difficult to actually catch him doing something like this.
He sent pictures of his private parts and asked for nude videos and images in return. He told the undercover investigator,
if I'm the cop, the investigator, and someone says that, and you know you got a good one on the line, it's got to be like as thrilling as catching a fish. You know, like, oh, we got one.
Investigator, he was at work, and some of his disturbances. He sent pictures of his private parts and asked for nude videos and images in return. He told the undercover investigator he was at work, and some of his disturbing photos appeared to be taken in his office. And during the conversation, he was planning a trip to Houston to engage in sex acts.
Okay, so now, you know, they often say guilty until proven, or innocent until proven guilty. That is not true at all. It's not true. There's no way. That couldn't be more obvious in a case like this. Of course he's guilty. And of course they'll prove it. And if you're him, I don't know how I don't kill myself at that point. You know?
Stevens has been around children his entire work life. He has been a coach, a principal, and an assistant principal in various towns across North Texas. He is married with no children.
And then if you're the wife, you feel bad for her. Unless she's in on it, but who knows?
As I mentioned,
thank God he doesn't have any kids.
To date, we have arrested 7. This is 27-year-old Kevin Baharahana. At the time of his arrest, he was working for FedEx. He was chatting with whom he thought was a 14-year-old. He arrived at our undercover location with a pack of condoms.
Oh.
This is Arturo Gonzalez. He is 23 years old. When he arrived to meet a 14-year-old, he tried to flee in his car when he saw police.
Look at that.
This is Aaron Gutierrez. Thought he was
one of these things is not like the other.
Going to have sex with a 16-year-old. He arrived with condoms and was arrested. He is employed at a coffee shop as a dishwasher and a cook. This is Anthony Randall Jacob. When he was arrested, he arrived at the undercover location seeking to have sex with a 15-year-old female. He brought condoms too. He is a 26-year-old and is...
I think they do that to provide prove intent. Tell them, make sure you bring condoms, and then they do.
Unemployed. This is Luis Zapeta. Arrived at undercover...
By the way, I think this is great, but I think that if they're publicizing this on their Facebook page, you don't want the bad guys to know that this is happening. You should keep it on the down low if you're law enforcement that you were successful. You can't tip off the world of your secrets because you're less likely, the creeps may be more cautious, and then you'll have a harder time busting more in the future, you know?
Location looking to engage in sex acts with a 14-year-old.
I mean, it's entertaining for us to make fun of these fucking losers, but...
female. He was arrested with condoms in his pocket. This is 41-year-old Robert Williams Fabella. He was arrested last Friday by Precinct 1. He was arrested for online solicitation of a minor.
Every one of these guys looks like a psychopath except for the school superintendent. The school superintendent looks like a school superintendent.
These cases should be a wake-up call for parents. You must know what your children are doing online. There are apps out there, even on your cell phone, that can help you keep track. We can't do it alone. the sheer number of predators, new technology, and new apps to keep up with. We must all work together. Predators like the ones we arrested in this sting.
All right, that actually makes sense now why they're talking about it, because, I get it. Not everybody's going to see this, but you need parents to actually be involved. Out of all these mugshots, every single one of these people that aren't the superintendent, they all look the same. The superintendent's mugshot has a nice blue background behind it. Oh, that's very strange. And he's smiling.
Should scare all of you. Take action and monitor your child's online activity.
Jeez.
I want to thank the Humble Police Department and specifically Chief Ken Tice for joining us in this important operation. Let's keep our children safe. Thank you.
Dude looks like Novak. Reminds me of him. Holy shit. Tyler says he's expecting the constable to say, "This is Kyle. He works as a radio host and thought he would be having sex with a 16-year-old. He arrived with condoms." Ladies and gentlemen, I mentioned him not long ago, so it's coincidence that Dawn Collins is joining us. The Canadian Twitch guru, who he's the one that I tipped you off earlier, brought Twitch into my life like a long time ago. And I said, nah, I'm not ready. I came back and said, all right, I'm ready. And he made that happen. And then he got out of the game of headhunting shows, and I think he's a worker, not a worker. He's driving content for like Amazon or something. I forget what you're actually doing, Don, but it's so good. This is one of the key people that made the Eric Zane Show podcast possible, and also a good friend of Tyler Glenn, who I mentioned earlier. Don says, quote, "You told me to fuck off for a year. LOL. Did I really? That sounds like something I would say. I can't tell if I actually did that." Maureen says Chris Hansen has worked with my friend Sheriff Chris Swanson to catch predators in the I'm guessing the Flint area. Maureen says that the picture of the principal is his high school yearbook pic. We don't know that. Maybe it is. Maureen says these stings have become so common. How are these, she wrote, memards still falling for this ruse? These disgusting pigs are the most ignorant people on the planet. Donnie writes, LOL, it was about 9 months ago, and then we got it together. You have a great show. More people share the link. They are missing out. Thank you, Don. I appreciate that. Yeah, I've always, it's been steady but slow in my growth on Twitch. You know, that is a good point that you make as the Twitch guru. More people share the link. They're missing out. I mean, I share it as best I can. It's building steadily but slowly. We are knocking on the door of 1,000 people that are following the page, following me on Twitch. All right. So that's just unbelievable. Let's move on to another maniac. Maybe not. This is a wild-ass story. Lady in Australia, Kathleen Folbig. She started having babies in 1989. She's had 4 babies. All 4 were dead before they were 2. So 1989 rolls around. She has a baby. Sometime between the birth of the baby and 2 years, she goes into the crib, and he's dead. She has baby number 2. Same thing. Dead. 3, 4, all dead. Every time this lady turns around, she's got to pick up a dead baby. She was convicted of killing her babies. They thought, you did this. This is it. You did it. Maybe not. I'm not sure what they went with in evidence other than she's the mom and she woke up and picked up a dead baby. But all 4 kids died, and they said you smothered them. You put a pillow over them and you killed your babies. You are a psychopath. And she's been in jail for 20 years. Kathleen Folbig. And she was found guilty in 2003 of smothering the kids. Caleb, Patrick, Sarah, and Laura, each before their 2nd birthday. Now, when I read this, I was like, well, of course. I mean, she needs to be locked up for the rest of her life. Oh, my God. Well, not only is she not locked up, she's out of jail forever, and she's been pardoned. Kathleen Folbig was just pardoned of killing her 4 babies. A governmental pardon. You did not do this. You've been pardoned. And it's like, wait a second. This has to be the most, the strangest pardon ever. I mean, I've heard about, white collar crimes, people getting pardoned or something like that, or maybe some weirdo conviction. You know, I had hopes that some of the former presidents, on their way out, it's what they do. They start giving out pardons. If I were president, the first thing I'd do is give a pardon to Brendan Dassey. And Stephen Avery, I'm not sure about Stephen Avery. I might give him a pardon. But for sure, Brendan Dassey from making a murderer. What the fuck is going on? How could this possibly be? Mom convicted of killing her 4 babies, pardoned after 20 years in jail. All right. Here's some of the finer points of this story. Audio check, video check.
Australian mom who was convicted of killing her 4 babies has been pardoned after 20 years in jail. New South Wales Attorney General Michael Daly said in a news conference on Monday that Kathleen Folbig had been granted an unconditional pardon after a review into her conviction. Per ABC News, the decision was based on new scientific evidence that her 4 children died by natural causes. The now 55-year-old was found guilty in 2003 of smothering her children, Caleb, Patrick, Sarah, and Laura. The 4 children died separately between 1989 and 1999, each before their 2nd birthday, with Folbig reportedly finding them one after another, lifeless in their cribs. After her conviction, Folbig was sentenced to 40 years in prison, which was reduced to 25 years after an appeal. But in 2021, a group of 90 scientists submitted a petition to pardon her for what they called a miscarriage of justice. They argued that there was no medical evidence to support the prosecution's case that Folbig had smothered each of the children. Instead, the group believed that the babies may have died of genetic causes. In 2018, scientists found that both Sarah and Laura had a genetic mutation in the COM2 gene, which, according to the petition, can cause sudden death in infants and children. They are still working to determine if there are strong genetic links to the boys' deaths. An autopsy showed that Patrick suffered from epilepsy, while Caleb's death was reported as sudden infant death syndrome. The Guardian reports that Folbig was released from the Clarence Correctional Center shortly after 11 a.m. local time.
How about that? They were able to convince the powers that be that all 4 of those kids just croaked. They suffered from death. Hey, what's wrong with your kids? Oh, they have died. They're going to die. I know that's difficult to wrap your brain around. But people that have, this is above my pay grade, people who are above my pay grade said, no, this is bullshit. She didn't do anything. There's no evidence to support a smothering. And we've discovered that these children there's something fucked up about each one of these kids. Every kid was fucked. So put down your pitchforks. I believe her. Ryan says they suffered from two people with bad genes having sex. So if you're that mom and the first one happens and, inexplicable grief. So then you get pregnant again and you have the second one and you're like, oh my God. And you're like really on edge. And then, you decide irrationally, I'm just going to stay awake with this baby. When this baby's sleeping, I'm going to watch the baby. And then she's sitting there and then she falls asleep, wakes up, dead baby. Quote, no way this could happen a third time. By the way, Kenny does not believe this. Linda does not believe this. They all think that she murdered the babies. She'd be better off in prison at this point. And then the third one. Can you imagine that? Holy fuck. Fourth time's the charm. No. More dead babies. Every time this bitch turns around, there's a dead baby in front of her. Seriously. The first time you hold a dead baby, and God bless those who have, in my opinion, your brain stops working correctly. If years later, you're shooting heroin and eating cocaine and snorting fucking vodka and drinking vodka through your asshole, and you're such a fucked up lunatic, someone says, yeah, what the fuck is that guy's problem? Someone's going to say, well, yeah, he held a dead baby. Oh, okay, yeah, that's acceptable then. Corey says she should go for 5. This lady is great at making dead babies. That's all she does is make dead babies. Hey, man, what are you doing? I'm making a dead baby. So these audience members, at least 2, say, no. She absolutely killed her kids. And that's the thing. She's out of prison. Corey refers to her as a stem cell factory. Jesus. She's out of prison. But if you're out of prison after that, you know that everybody's going to hate your guts anyway. Nobody's going to believe you that you didn't kill your 4 babies. Ryan says they let her go because she's past the age that she can have children. Can you imagine if she gets pregnant again somehow? Like, all right, that's it. No way. No way. My God. That's horrible. I don't know why, but I think she's innocent. I don't think that she did anything wrong. For some reason, I feel bad for this woman. I think that this is all just a terrible coincidence. PSN Bleach, which is not Stevie. I forget who that is. Says dead baby talk on my way to work as a pediatric therapy clinic. Yeah, but look, no one in the clinic is just waking up with dead babies, surrounded by dead babies. Okay, that's not going to happen. This is a 1 in a billion thing. Radio voice Linda says, quote, I'll show you that I can have a 5th baby. Or worse, she adopts, Ryan writes. And then Corey says, quote, somehow my genes got to the adopted child. I can't explain it. You guys are very funny today. And then Tyler says, yeah, they have to let her adopt a baby. And then, if this black baby's laying in bed and then she wakes up and there's dead baby there, and she has to call, hey, there's dead baby here. Then you don't even bring an ambulance. You just bring the SWAT team and you just shoot the bitch dead right in the head. Fuck you. Enough killing babies. You've killed now 5. For some reason, they let you out after you murdered 4 of them. But now you've murdered your 5th. You're a dead bitch. And, she's extremely recognized in Australia. Okay? It'd be like she's as popular as, think of someone famous. Not Miley. What's the fuck? Taylor Swift. It'd be like if Taylor Swift killed 4 babies. If Taylor Swift is walking around with a 5th baby, there's going to be all eyes on her waiting for that baby to die. That's how famous of a face this woman has. So now that she's free, if anyone 2 or under is near her, it's going to be paparazzi everywhere waiting for death. There's a lot of fucked up shit going on here with that story. Corey says the dingoes there eat the babies all the time. So perhaps if she had the baby and then dead baby, the dingo eat the baby. A baby eating dingo is what you're suggesting. Wow. That is a absolute disaster of a story that I think pushed me to my limit of what I can make ridiculous of this. If you can take a serious story of 4 dead babies and somehow make it cartoonish or ridiculous, that is reason number 1,457,000 why I'm better than everyone else on the planet. And I had help. I had help from you. You are some funny motherfuckers on this hilarious story about 4 dead babies. My God. I went into this dead baby story thinking that we had our work cut out for us. But if you can go into a dead baby story with, hey, I don't know where this is going to take me. I mean, if I just said, wow, that is something. That'd have been all I really needed. It would have been a pretty good piece of material. But if you can take 4 dead babies and somehow make it absurd and ridiculous, that's a champion move right there. That's an absolute. Someone is a fucking comedy genius. Florida Man 814 says the only person we have ever discussed that is worse than dead baby lady is Z-Speed mobile mechanic. Apparently, when Corey said the dingoes eat babies there all the time, that was a reference to something in pop culture. That is a Seinfeld reference that I missed, but I'm glad you wrote it. Still funny. Corey says dead baby jokes were popular when I was in high school. We are desensitized. Yes, absolutely. Jimmy says, yeah, but can she kill a hamster? Thank you for that. I appreciate that. All right. I need to go tinkle and take Darla out to go potty, or I'm not going to make it. I'll be back. You guys share weirdo references with each other. I realize that took a long time, but I had a lot to do. I had to take 3 I got up with the 1 puppy, and the other 2 got up and said, we got to go too. What the fuck is going on here? All sorts of discussion. Ryan, stirring up trouble. This extra long intermission brought to you in part by our friends at Z-Speed Mobile Mechanic. Why take your car to get an oil change when we can spill oil all over your driveway instead? Get Z-Speed Mobile Mechanic today. Hey, look, you're going too far. I can put up with dead baby jokes, but this is too much. Fuck you, motherfucker. Fuck you and your fucking Z-Speed. Oh my God. What the fuck are you guys making? What are you talking about? What's going on here? Talking about the Duggars? I think it's a Duggar discussion. Yeah, I gotta watch that. Sir Bob of Oliver adds, don't forget promo code KENE when you call upon Z Speed. No, yeah, that's still a great joke. I don't give a fuck what he says. I never said I wasn't going to go back to that joke. And now it's actually going to be worse. I am teaching you slowly but surely to learn how to quit being so sensitive. That's what's happening. All right. Before we get back into what I want to get to, I must tell you that my friends at M37 Hackers want you to improve your golf game. 269-205-2095 is their number. They're located right in beautiful Middleville, Michigan, along M37. M37 Hackers in a fantastically quaint little strip mall. You go in there, you bring your golf clubs and a case of cold beer. You go into the projection bay and you say, I think I want to golf St. Andrews. And then you proceed to work on your game. Right there. You're golfing St. Andrews. Wait a minute. Why did I slice that? Hit the replay button. And then on the screen, it shows the way your club face is hitting the ball stupidly. M37 Hackers, the best technology in this entire industry. You will not be let down. $40 an hour at last check. Hopefully the price didn't go up. 269-205-2095. Okay, I had some bad info yesterday about Berlin Raceway. First of all, there is racing on Wednesday. The Money in the Bank. This is a big event for them. $20 for the Money in the Bank race. Parking free, 15 and under free. That's to cover the massive purse for these drivers. Yesterday, I thought, okay, there's the Wednesday race, and then they don't race this coming weekend. That's not true. It's Schools Out Kid Night at the track. Saturday night, $14 for tickets to that event. Two times you can hang out at Berlin, Wednesday and Saturday. BerlinRaceway.com for more information. Okay, moving on. It's been no secret on this show. I've revealed to you many times about the far-reaching, devastating power in the great state of Michigan for officers with the name DNR, Department of Natural Resources. Department of Natural Resources conservation officers are the big swinging dick in Michigan. You can be a detective, and if a DNR truck pulls up, you just get the fuck out of the way. These are the ones that not only conserve the land, but if there's a bear that wanders into a neighborhood, they go and they just attack the bear. They don't even use a gun or a tranquilizer. They just rip its eyes and tongue out in a minute. And then that's it. The worst thing you want to do is not only, okay, if you run into a DNR officer, like if I'm over at Fear Bunker North and let's say there's a burn ban because it's so dry in Michigan, which there's not right now. Like if you wanted to have a campfire right now in Michigan, you could. But they encourage you to have like water nearby and a shovel, which is something I never do, but I will do now because of that fire that just broke out at Fear Bunker North. But if I'm up there and there's a burn ban and a DNR guy comes driving down my driveway, which of course is private property, he shouldn't be doing that, but he can because he's a DNR guy, and he sees me having a fire, I'm going to get shot in the face. If I'm fishing and when he's usually looking at you through binoculars. They're going to, and you have no fishing license, you're fucked. You're going to get shot. I was talking with Charity Scam Mike, who fishes on Lake St. Clair in Michigan for walleye. And you in Michigan are allowed 6 walleye per day. However, if you are seen every day fishing for 6 walleye per day, you are breaking the reasonable consumption law. Like if I go out to Lake St. Clair or any lake in Michigan and I catch 6 walleye, and then the next day I show up there again, and then the next day I show up there again, they're going to notice me. And they're going to wonder why I'm catching so much fish. So many fish. They will follow you to your home and make you open up your freezer. And if they can say this is beyond reasonable consumption, you're obviously doing something more with this, they're going to investigate you. And if they deem that you are actually selling the fish, worst case is going across state lines, you're in for a big fucking fine. It will fuck you right in the butt. Charity Scam Mike was telling me that one of his buddies was going out catching the 6, coming back in, changing his clothes, and then going back out, and they busted him. Please play the guys who were caught stuffing lead weights in their bass to win the tournament in Ohio. Oh my God. We got weights and fish. I'm not going to hunt for it right now. I don't want to take too much of a absolute distraction. But yeah, those guys, for cheating in the fish tournament, they ended up getting going to prison. You don't fuck with the natural resources. You would have a better chance of getting out of prison if you murdered 4 babies. Hold on a second. Hey, leave him alone. Darla is turning into a flat-out bully. So, all right. In this particular case, though, a guy was at a campground, and a DNR guy was also there, off duty. And one camper got mixed up with another camper. One of the combatants in this pushing and shoving contest was the father of a DNR guy. So you got DNR guys there with his dad. DNR dad mixes it up with another camper about something, God knows what, which led to pushing and shoving. the dad of the DNR guy is pushing dude, and dude walks away, and DNR guy, according to the lawsuit, pulls out his gun and shoots the guy who's fucking around with his dad. The DNR said, we're going to investigate this. You've got your time off with pay. He shot a guy, and the guy is fucked up. It wasn't like a grazing blow. He was bleeding like a stuck pig. It destroyed his intestines. It destroyed one of his kidneys. So the guy now is suing for $250 million. I don't know if you can say that's excessive. I mean, you can, but I don't know. Maybe the hope is to get $1 million. I don't know. Now, the lawsuit isn't filed against like the DNR or the county or I don't even know if is the DNR. I think the DNR might be a federal agency. Are they suing the government or this guy? I'm not sure. The complaint was filed yesterday on behalf of Brandon Davis, who says, yeah, the guy shot me after a fight where I was defending myself. Fight started when the guy filing the complaint claims the dude's dad grabbed him and pushed him. And then dude said he employed defensive tactics. And that's when the other guy got involved and shot him. Now, I'll say this. The training that your old pal EZ is, you are not to take your gun out of your holster unless you are planning to kill. So you should have a 100% reasonable threat against your life in order to kill. The rule is you meet the threat and go above the threat. So if there's a guy on my porch who punches me in the face, I don't necessarily, or let's say he comes in my house and punches me in the face, I don't necessarily have the option to shoot him dead in my house. There's a gray area there. It's tricky. It's not as cut and dry as, well, I feel threatened, you're dead. You will go to prison for that. You can't just be fucking Yosemite Sam shooting your guns around because somebody got in a fist fight with your dad. Now, if this guy is in a fist fight with the DNR guy's dad and you kick the guy in the face and stomp him out and get him in a rear naked choke and he goes nighty-night, yes. Shooting him when he's engaged with your dad might get you in some deep shit. That's going to be in front of a jury, and they're going to decide your fate. And you may go to prison for a long, long time. Davis's attorney says that he was walking away when the DNR guy shot him. He's been in the hospital several times. He had multiple surgeries. He was unarmed. He was walking away. No reason whatsoever for the use of deadly force, says the attorney for Davis, Brian Daly. The lawsuit claims the officer used completely unreasonable force, which caused Davis's physical, mental injuries like losing the kidney, permanent intestinal and spinal injuries, a colostomy bag, and loss of freedom. It also claims the shooting caused him medical expenses and distress. That all seems reasonable to me. Several witnesses heard the officer announce that he was a DNR conservation officer before he shot Davis. One witness said she heard the cop only identify himself as DNR and then heard 3 shots. She called 911 and administered first aid to Davis. The lawsuit seeks $250 million as well as costs and fees. You got to understand, the average DNR guy, he took about a 5-minute correspondence course about why deer are important. They're stupid fucking rednecks. And they recruit these scumbags from faraway places in the middle of nowhere. And they have to be like disgusting mountain men. It's true. Everything I've said is 100% true. And they have as much power as the president of the United States. A DNR officer could actually start a war with Russia. They have that authority. DNR guy could call up the generals and say, invade Russia right now or nuke Russia. And they go, wait a minute, who is this? Are you the president? And they're going to say, no, I'm a DNR guy in Mecosta County, Michigan. They go, oh, okay, sorry, sir, right away. Not only does my client want to see to it that he is compensated properly for what he's lost, but he has a particular affinity for the idea that Michigan has built up its parts and its recreation to the outside world. He wants to make sure that he preserves the integrity of that effort, that we've spent as taxpayers hundreds of millions of dollars on the Pure Michigan campaign to make sure that people feel comfortable coming to their state parks and their county parks. So he's like looking out for the parks, which I don't believe for a second. That guy doesn't give a shit about the parks. He just wants the $250 million. But if you can throw that angle and do it, that's going to help you win. DNR officer was placed on leave while the investigation continues. Holy shit, this is so fucked up. My God. I guess in every other state, they're known as game wardens. They have more power, no Fourth Amendment than with them. Oh, yeah, every day, DNR officers, they just shoot. They do things like shoot random people and no one bats an eye. Corey said, if I heard DNR, I would think do not resuscitate. That's what DNR means everywhere else. Yeah, that's true. Kyle writes, they stand outside police stations. When flunkies exit, DNR does their recruiting. My God, this is weird. So hopefully that lawsuit, he'll get every penny of that $250 million. Let's just put it this way. If I earned $250 million in a lawsuit, but I had to have a colostomy bag, part of my intestines were blown out, I had a kidney damage, and my spine was hurt, and I'm fucked up, I would take that. I would say, yeah, do it. That is worth it. Absolutely. Thank you to Dale at Superior Cleaning and Power Washing. /Dale. I'll be having him on in just a few moments for Smarter Than a Former Drug Dealer Trivia. Call Dale for a power washing estimate. 231-740-4098. He does our place here. He does a great job. You'll love him. Call him up. He'll pick it up and say, hey, Eric Zane sent me. I need an estimate. I need some power washing done. This place looks like shit. 231-740-4098. Some of you single ladies will hell, some of you married ladies will, if he shows up, even some of you men, you're going to want to have sex with him. If you're into the bad boy thing, this is for you. Now, he's married, so to just an absolute adorable lady. So, but, you know, maybe you can fantasize and take care of yourself while you're watching Dale work. 231-740-4098. Thank you to the Kent County Health Department. If you need any information about the WIC program, keeping food on the table for your house or your neighbor's house, your loved ones, whatever it may be, have them look upon the Kent County Health Department. AccessKent.com/health is their website. Their phone number is 616-632-7200 for the Kent County Health Department. I have Deer Meathead tomorrow. If you have a question for Dad, send it along. Eric@ericzaneshow.com. Hold on a second. No. Chew on your bone, not a sock. Asshole of the day brought to you by TC Paintball. Let's see. Superintendent who likes the taste of child. The mom who killed her kids or they just died. The DNR shooter. More fallout from the Great Bigot Purge of 2023. Rent-A-Hitman, bitch. And the door-to-door salesman in the neighborhood. I don't know. Well, I think mom who killed her kids. I think enough intelligent people think she didn't do it that part of me thinks she didn't do it. A lot of you think she did, in fact, do that. DNR campground shooter, maybe. The pedophiles. Yeah, it's got to be the pedos. Whenever there's pedos in the news, you can't go wrong with a pedophile, for God's sake. There you go. That's your asshole of the day today on this edition of the Eric Zane Show podcast, which is concluding now. I will have Smarter Than a Former Drug Dealer trivia a little bit later on, and then the Patreon bonus podcast for the 1,071st time. Thank you to all of you for enjoying the show. I appreciate you, and I'll talk to you down the road. Bye-bye.